Green Lantern, issue 24, license number 591, Jeremy Adams writing with XERMÁNICO on the art. So, yeah, it's been a solid book, and I think this is a solid issue. The cover did worry me, because it made it look like the crab mask was damaged, and, well, one, I'm worried about Kyle, but also that crab mask is glorious, it should not be harmed. It's...
Not true. It's real dumb, and it obscures his face in a way that it doesn't need to.
It's a mask!
So...
The point of a mask is to obscure the face.
Correct, but it's doing way more than the just typical domino mask. And there's also multiple Green Lanterns that don't wear a mask.
One?
So what's he obscuring?
Yes, but one may argue the domino mask is useless, and it's actually a big suspension of disbelief that it actually fools anyone.
Hey, it works for other heroes. I don't see any other heroes rocking a crab mask.
This is just the asinine arguments here. I can't be having.
Look, Just doesn't wear one. Okay, John Stewart doesn't wear one. Guy Gardner doesn't wear one. All right, works for them just fine.
That's because you can see Guy Gardner's hair coming a mile off. He knows there's no disguise in it.
That's true. That's true. But anyways, there's a big reveal at the end of this one that people were going nuts for, and it did not land with me whatsoever. So hopefully,
there is.
You know,
what?
Yeah. The final page. We'll get there. People were very excited, and I was just like, "Cool! I'm glad y'all are excited." But this means not a lot to me.
Yeah, was that not a new character at the end?
Nope. It is an established character from the Green Lantern animated series.
Well, okay, because I was like, I don't think I know this character, and I was like, is that just because I don't know her? And I looked up the DC wiki, and it said first appearance, so I was like, oh, I don't know her, fine, that's great, but that's because she's
first appearance in a comic.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
And the only reason I know all this is because I follow Lucas Meyer online, and he's very excited. Lucas Meyer loves Green Lantern in a way that few people do. So he was talking to Jeremy Adams and being like, "Oh my God, you guys did this. This is really cool." And I was like, and then a bunch of people are glomming onto it. I was like, "Hey, if they're excited, I am happy for them." But cool. Now I know how people feel when I go off about things like this.
Yeah, okay.
It was great to get the opposite.
I'm on their side. I don't know why you're being a downer about this. Just because you don't know who it is doesn't mean that they shouldn't be excited.
Not being a downer. I had seen this before I'd read the issue, right? So I was expecting this big grand reveal of this character, and it's literally just the final page.
Okay, but that's not the issue's fault though that you read other people reacting to it. No. I just that's the thing that stuck out, because again, you said this has been a very decent series, and it's been very just, I don't want to say by the books. It's not really by the books, but it's been consistent, and that is the one thing I got to give Adams credit for since taking over Green Lantern. It has been pretty consistently good, and this doesn't break that at all. Yeah, I would put it a bit above decent. I think that word's maybe selling it a little bit short. So, yeah, Hal and Carol are working together, dealing with some criminals in the city. They're flirting a little bit. They want to go for lunch, for dinner, but they're going to take these criminals off to the local prison first. So, okay, that sets up that plot. Meanwhile, the other team in space, led by Kyle, are being drawn to somewhere in deep space. And they find this old Green Lantern station, which looks like, it's own technology. It's big Green Lantern logo on it, so it's something, at some point, and there's these green arrows that are pointing them inside, so they go in and they go walking around. Odyssey seems to think this is a bad idea and maybe a trap or whatever, and the rest of them are like, no, let's just go. We're all gung-ho about it. Also, they go out of their way to remind you that Kyle does technically still have the abilities of a White Lantern. And the green's the one he has most of, though, and he uses the willpower of the green to keep all the other spectrum in check, because they're very powerful and tough to deal with. So I think the fact that they're reminding us of that is because it's going to come up at some point later.
I'm wondering how that's going to pay off once we start getting to the other core, right? These other ones that are popping up. The Starbreakers? Yeah. I'm always forgetting what their thing, but I'm wondering how that's going to pay off later, because we're getting a lot of confluence, especially here. When they get to the prison stuff, there's a lot of emotions turning into other emotions in ways that I wasn't expecting. So
yeah, well, so
I'm wondering if that's going to pay off with the White Lantern.
Yeah, so this prison plot is that they get to the prison and they're kind of weirded out how upbeat and happy everyone is. The prisoners and like guards included. The warden's super nice about everything. They invite them in for lunch at their salad bar. And Carol says yes, which Hal's dumbfounded by. But it turns out Carol's been spending too much time in the Justice League with Batman. He's like, well, Batman always says that if something feels off, we should investigate it. So let's investigate. And he's like, fine, we'll investigate.
That's because Batman has no life, and I do.
Yes,
I do love the low-key Batman and Hal Jordan rivalry. That I just feel like they only work together because they're in the Justice League, but they generally do not like each other.
Yeah, which is why it's really funny that Carol, the love of Hal's life, is like, no, Batman's been teaching me things. Batman's really smart. We should listen to Batman. But yeah, they go snooping around, of course, and they find this lab or the whatever underground in the basement is what I'm trying to say. And they find this scientist with a creature named Happy, which sets up the rest of this plot. Meanwhile, back with the other characters, they find this big, tube of energy that they're looking at, and they're questioning what this place is. Very quickly, a bunch of manhunters show up, and they're like, no one escapes the manhunters, so, action scene commence. Back at the prison, they're questioning about this creature and what's going on, and it's glowing in the same light as Star Sapphire, right? It's got kind of that love aura around it, and it basically turns out to be, I mean, he explains some of the backstory and how he was even testing on it, and this guy's actually kind of a piece of shit with some of the experiments that he was doing. And it's all his fault. But they find out that this Happy is emanating all this love, that it's keeping everyone in the prison like in this upbeat attitude they're all in. So it's like coming from this guy. But when they say, hey, we have to take this creature away to test it and see where it belongs and all the rest of it because it's emitting lantern energy or the emotional spectrum, this guy immediately turns orange, and all the people inside the building turn orange. It all turns to greed, and they're like, wait a minute, this is the emotional spectrum is going nuts here. This is like all turned them into orange, like glowing lanterns effectively. So yeah, they have to fight their way out, and basically they kind of get surprised with the resolution, because seemingly the energy coming from this creature Happy is kind of when it meets Carol's energy, it kind of neutralizes, and everyone kind of goes to normal. The warden starts acting normal, and it's like, wait a minute, like we somehow stumbled into a solution here. The prison's back to normal, so what's going on with this? It basically sets up we're doing some more stuff with with the spectrum, and there's more weird effects happening because of these random outbursts. I thought this was an interesting one, just in the sense that they go somewhere and everyone's too happy because the spectrum that's affecting them is the loved one. I think that's kind of an interesting, it's a little bit different to, there's a giant scary thing because someone's scared or angry. This was like, no, everyone's a bit too happy. It's spectrum stuff.
Weird. Yeah, and then when they go to take the happiness away, that's when it turns to greed. It's like, no, that's my happiness. Where are you going with it? No, that's mine. And so it's been a while since we've really seen orange energy in effect. So I thought that was curious that it went from love to greed in that way. That was definitely something that I wasn't expecting.
Yeah, I thought that was an interesting take. I enjoyed that plot quite a bit. Not that I didn't enjoy the other plot. I think it's fine. And then obviously the reveal at the end is this character Aya, which I assume how you pronounce that. Shows up, and she's kind of the one who's been using this station. And you tell me she's from the animated series. Cool. Never watched an episode of it, but fair enough.
No, and apparently her name came from Hal mispronouncing AI. So it's AI. Yeah, AI. So,
so it's AI.
Curious. I will say, AI. Yeah. I will say on the right before the final page, man, there's some XERMÁNICO with the breakdowns of the action sequences.
Yeah,
everything's so tense, and on the background, there's all these looks like circuit paths and circuitry, and almost looks like there's an eye watching them and stuff. And there's some really, really fun little detail work in there behind all this awesome action. And I was like, man, XERMÁNICO is really throwing his good stuff here.
Yeah, so well, I guess we'll find out more about who this character is and how threatening she may or may not be next issue.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I have to admit, the reveal at the end was a little bit lost on me because I was like, okay, who's this? But fair enough. So yeah, honestly, just another solid issue. I like they're continuing this story well. It's playing with these ideas of the spectrums breaking down and this desire to build all the lanterns to contain them. And that's running throughout both books quite well. There's a crossover coming soon, starting with issue 25 with Lantern Corps. So, no, I mean it's just an enjoyable Green Lantern run, without like necessarily going above and beyond and being like spectacular all timer, but really solid in a way that it's nice to have for Green Lantern again after we didn't for a while. So,
well, and then just the balance of all of the core stuff that they're doing with the emotional spectrum, and then that's being balanced by all of the like space sci-fi kind of stuff with the ship, and then finding the station and full of manhunters. And honestly, I really like her addition because they're calling them amateurs going into this place that they think is safe. Like that's her entire thing, right? She's a bandit. She's a time bandit, and so her being like, guys, you don't see any red flags here. I like that. I like that dynamic of that group. So
no, I like that too.
Really,
I
really cool.
like that Kyle's got a little supporting cast now, and I like that Hal and Carol, like Carol being like a recurring character, so we can actually, maybe do stuff with their relationship feels nice after being ignored for so long. So I've appreciated that about this run. But more than anything, I think I just like how focused it feels. I think between this and Green Lantern Corps, it feels like there's a good focused sense of where this corner of the universe is going. There's an overall plan in mind, and it feels like they're sticking to that plan. The odd bump in a road aside, it feels like it's doing a good job of that. So yeah, and XERMÁNICO's art obviously is pretty nice to look at pretty much all the time, so it's hard to really complain.
And that creature Happy is an axolotl, which is like an amphibian that's on Earth, and they always look like they have a smile on their face. So I thought that was fun. A little them making that the kind of, not avatar, but the source of this happiness. I thought that was pretty cute.
All right, what are you giving Green Lantern?
A 7.5.
Yeah. It's about either that or an 8. It's kind of in that range. Really, really enjoyable time. I think I'll agree with the 7.5. Maybe just because the ending fell flat for me more than anything. I think if the ending led to something that I knew, I'd probably feel a bit more positive than I do. But still pretty good though. I'm still enjoying the run quite a bit.